Wow. The biggest health patch to Dead by Daylight has just been announced, and there are a ton of things in this update that the community has been wanting for years upon years. We're talking about the going next epidemic, slugging fixes, and much, much more. Let's go ahead and break down everything they spoke about. As a Fog Whisperer, we got a little bit of a sneak peek of this. I'll leave the actual video down below, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is read the blog post that we got a little bit early to you guys, because this is absolutely amazing. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump on into it. So this is going to be taking place over 2 different phases. The first one's going to run from April to June, while the second runs from July to December. And they have a full look at the schedule, upcoming changes, which you'll see on screen. This is essentially the roadmap. Now, this is essentially Project Health, the thing that we've been talking about for a very long time. And because of this, some of the new DLCs, chapters, rifts, modifiers, collections will be delayed. So all eyes are on this, all hands are on deck, and this is something the community has been wanting for a very long time. Push things back and really fix the core of the game, and I think there's no better time to do this with FNAF coming right around the corner. We're gonna get a huge influx in players, and this is definitely the right step to do. Obviously, some people are going to complain, but listen, the community has been wanting this forever, and this is going to be more good than it is bad. Let's go ahead and talk about the big changes. First and foremost, we have the surrender state. Essentially, the team has been working on a surrender state feature, which should limit player frustration on both sides. All remaining survivors need to be slugged, or all remaining survivors are bots. So essentially, if everyone has DC'd, the killer can disband the lobby and surrender, and if all the survivors are just slugged being bled out, all the survivors can vote to essentially go to the next match. By doing so, the trial itself will end. However, you will retain all the blood points you earned during a match, and you also won't get the disconnect penalty. So there you go. You can all just move on to the next match. And you can't just do this at any time. These 2 circumstances need to be in play. I think this is a great start to everything, and eventually some changes might be needed to this, in the sense of maybe there should be a surrender option in case everything's going bad and the game is pretty much over. But overall, I think it's a pretty good change. I'm sure with more testing and information that they get, maybe something like that can be implemented, but a beautiful opener to this. Next on the list, we have gamma adjustments. Thank God. Dead by Daylight can get a little dark, not just thematically, and sometimes excessive darkness can hinder playability. We're introducing the ability to adjust gamma settings on all platforms, allowing you to find a sweet spot without sacrificing intended artistic decision. Amazing. Everything will be brighter. So many people play with filters, and those of you guys that are on console, you don't even have that luxury to play on filters, so this is amazing. Next on the list is a big one, the Go Next prevention. Now, I haven't read this yet, but in my head, we've spoken so much about the Go Next epidemic, and one of the ways that I personally would solve it is just bringing back the pip system. The old pip system, I promise you, it's like an ego thing, and people would 100% not just go next if they knew that they would lose a pip. Let's see what they're actually going to do. They said the Go Next expression refers to instances where a survivor deliberately does everything in their power to quickly go to their next game, including walking up to the killer, standing still, running to the hook, and repeatedly pointing at, or most commonly, intentionally failing skill checks while on the hook. To disincentivize and properly penalize this behavior, we'll be implementing measures that will help us identify when a player is attempting to go next. Once identified, they'd receive a disconnection penalty point and lose an entire grade. We'll be keeping a close eye on the system to ensure its accuracy, and we're confident that this will help alleviate the issue. Wow. On the other hand, we'd like to reward players who stick it out through those challenging matches, even when things take a dire turn. We'll be moving forward with a new emblem-based multiplier that grants additional blood points during your following match, which the bonus stacking over consecutive trials. Wow, that's amazing. So essentially, if you're just going next for whatever reason, there's now going to be a penalty, which is amazing. Now, the argument about this that everybody had is that there's reasons why people go next. However, that umbrella has gotten so large that instead of it actually being valid reasons why someone might be going to the next match, maybe you faced the Blight 15 times in a row. Now it's just, oh, I'm on a map that I don't think I can loop well on, I'm going to leave. Oh, I see a trapper in the distance, I don't like trappers, so I'm just going to leave. And that behavior has trickled down over years and years of gameplay to the point where every single match that you play now, there is someone DCing. But as of now, I think this is a very good solution and I'm looking forward to it. Next on the list is extreme hiding and body blocking prevention. Extreme hiding refers to a survivor drawing out an unwinnable match by ignoring their objective and waiting out the clock. To combat this, we're changing the way AFK crows operate. Wow. So they can more accurately identify when a player is deliberately avoiding engagement with their gameplay objective. Once a player receives crows, their location will be immediately revealed to the killer. We'll also be incorporating a feature that allows players to lose collision after receiving a third AFK crow, which should prevent instances of body blocking related to grief. Absolutely beautiful. So those people that literally hold the game hostage, holding you in the corner, you'll now just have invincibility once you have your 3 crows. And now if you have a crow, the killer will know. So if you're just waiting it out, just so everybody else dies and you can get hatched or something like that, you're going to be in trouble. The only issue that I can potentially see with this is that if there's 2 people left and let's say it really is an unwinnable game, the person that goes to work on that generator, they're ultimately going to get caught by the killer. So the other person, no matter what, is still going to win. You actively both have to do something, which I guess at that point is truly a 50-50. So we'll wait and see how that goes. But honestly, another W change, big W change. Next on the list, we have map offerings. Oh my god, they're really going through it all. They said that moving forward, map offerings will no longer guarantee the appearance of a given map, but rather increase its chances by 20%. No, they will not stack. We're also making it so map offerings, as well as several other types of offerings, will remain a secret during the load-in. That way, your decision to remain in the match will not be swayed by external factors. That's amazing. So now, if you see a survivor bringing a specific map, instead of you just DCing, not giving them what they want, you don't actually know what they're bringing in. It might be a map offering, but now if you load into the map, you don't even know if that's the map offering they brought. Ultimately, you'll find out at the end of the trial, so maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but this is a great change and it honestly will be pretty good. Map offerings were something that people want to completely remove from the game. I think this is a much better solution. 20% seems very, very nice. Spawn rules is the next thing on the list. They said that they're changing the default survivor spawn rules to ensure that each survivor will spawn within 12 meters of one another on the same floor if applicable. To accommodate for this change, shroud offerings will be adjusted accordingly. This is a pretty good change, and the reason why they're doing this is because they said that it's become very clear that survivor spawning separately and therefore covering more ground allows them to gain a notable advantage in completing their objective, which makes sense. So this way, pretty much everyone's on one side. Now, the only downside to this is I can definitely see it swaying in the killer's favor, especially if they have something like Lethal Pursuer and you're like a Legionnaire. So everyone essentially is grouped up, and if I spawn on this side, there's a group of survivors on the other side. I understand what they're trying to do here, but I think this one potentially might not be the best, but we'll have to wait and see. I know Survivor mains are not going to be happy with this one, but I can understand their thought process with this. Is it the right solution? I don't know. Next on the list, they have improved AFK Bot Detection. Players that use AFK bots can be frustrating to have in your trial, and we're working on improvements in our detection systems to quickly identify and penalize them accordingly. Essentially, if you don't know what this is, if someone just has a macro, they hop into your game, maybe they're a killer to swing, they get a certain amount of blood points, not really too much, and then that carries on. This is funny because all the way back in 2016, people used to deliberately do this in order to get legacy, and this was their way of trying to obtain legacy. And it's funny that people are still to this day doing that. So I guess, hey, good that they're going to be changing it. Next on the list, oh my god, I'm so happy to see it. A bulk blood point spending. To speed up the general blood web activity, we're adding a button that will allow you to spend blood points in bulk. Oh, I can't wait to see what this is. It's so infuriating when you have like 1 million or 2 million blood points and you literally have to spend 30 minutes just leveling up, suffering from success, literally. And especially with them giving away so many blood points, this is going to be amazing. Just one click of a button, boom, done. That will be so, so good. Next up, we have a quest system, and this is something that I've been calling for years and years and years. They said previously announced last year, the quest system is part of a larger update to the archives and the rifts, so expect more information in an article specifically dedicated to that. For now, know that we will be reworking the challenge system as well as daily rituals to reduce the grind, make it easier to earn rewards, and increase the overall level of fun. This is beautiful. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but what I've been saying is to have, similarly to pretty much every game out there now, daily, weekly, monthly, and then event-wide objectives. Each of these objectives will give you rift fragments, blood points, maybe even shards, whatever the case may be. And yeah, you can just do it and make it encourage players to go on to different killers, go on to different survivors, play with different perks. We kind of a little bit of a taste of that with daily rituals, but not necessarily that well. So this way it can be much better. So if you just have to open one chest, set that as a daily challenge. No one really cares. A weekly challenge can be like a combination of Trapper, Wraith, and Hillbilly at least once. And then a monthly trial could be like 50 survivors. Then you can have your specific quest system, which would be your Rift or your Archive challenges, which would be, okay, this time we're featuring the Blight in the Tome, so play the Blight and knock down 10 survivors using this. Obviously, this is going to skew pick rates a lot, and they need to be a little bit careful with that, but overall, it could be rather fun. Next on the list, they have Perks and Loadouts preview, which is actually the final thing that we have on the list. They said after a successful round of A/B testing, we'll be allowing players to see their own perk loadouts while in a lobby. So we'll be adding additional perk loadout slots. In case you don't know what this is, essentially for a certain amount of players, when you load into the game, in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a little indication of the perks that you're bringing into the trial. And a lot of times players forget exactly what perks they're running. Maybe it's their first game of the day and last night they were memeing around and you spawn into a game with no Mither. You spawn into a game with an all Hex build and you don't want it. Maybe you haven't played a killer in a very long time. You forgot to change your build. Now you'll be able to see it. Amazing. This is absolutely amazing. Now, a lot of these things that they mentioned are in part 1. Part 2 is the big one that I think as well. There's going to be more anti-slugging changes, continued improvements to that. Anti-tunneling is going to be a thing. Anti-camping is going to be a thing. MMR update. Maybe we'll finally be able to see our MMR. Map and key item balancing. Amazing. We're finally going to see some changes. And for quality of life things, keyboard and mouse will be coming to console. Custom games finally will be getting some improvements. Tons of more accessibility improvements. Prestige rewards. And some reduced login steps. This is absolutely amazing, and I really can't wait to see everything that they're going to do. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you leave a like down below. I am back, by the way. It's been a while since I've made a lot of videos and even streamed. I was on a vacation. Now we're back, ready to the grind. In March, I'm actually going to do a couple of cool things. I'm going to be going to Montreal and visiting Behavior themselves. So if you have any questions or comments you'd like for me to tell to the devs, keep it PG, let me know. And should be quite good. All that I got to plug is head on over to Twitch. I'll be streaming there from now on. And oh, my Instagram has really lost the sauce. I'm going to do a giveaway over there. All you need to do is follow my Instagram and like my most recent post, and you will be entered. In 1 week from today, everybody that's like posts will be entered in a DLC giveaway of their choice. If you made it to this far in the video, then, you know, if you didn't, then womp womp. So just go over. I'll leave the link down in the description. That's pretty much going to do it for me. As always, I'm the King. That's in my currency, guys. We'll see you on Twitch for life now. And have a fantastic rest of your day.